afternoon, everyone. It is my pleasure to warmly greet the Honorable Levi Peter, Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Dominica, Her Excellency Fiona Ramsey, European Union Ambassador to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS, and CARICOM CARIFORUM, Ms. Limia El-Tayeb, Resident Representative of UNDP Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Ms. Fanny Stinks, Deputy Ambassador of the European Union, Ms. Gira Lando, State Attorney and Honorary Advisor to the Attorney General, Martino, Advisor to the Honorable Ambassador, colleagues from the justice sector, partners and members of the media. We are gathered here under the partnership of the Caribbean and European Union on Justice, also known as PACE Justice, which is funded by the European Union and implemented by UNDP. Its purpose is to support stronger, more efficient, and more people-centered justice systems across the Caribbean. Since 2023, UNDP has been working closely with the Government of Dominica under this partnership, and today marks an important milestone in that collaboration. This symbolic handover of equipment to the government reflects our shared commitment to ensuring that institutions are equipped with the modern tools they need to operate effectively and serve the people of Dominica. We are grateful for the continued leadership and partnership that has brought us to this moment, and we look forward to building on this process together. And with that, it is my honor to invite Ms. Limia El-Tayeb, Resident Representative to UNDP Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, to bring remarks. Welcome, Limia. Yes, please.
Thank you, Crystal, and thank you to the team, the AG, for gracefully hosting us here today. I'm extremely pleased to be here today for a number of reasons. The first one being that this project, PACE Justice, which is the European Partnership with the Caribbean on Justice implemented by UNDP, comes at a time when the sector of justice reform, citizen security, is at the forefront and the center of everybody's attention. And I am extremely pleased with the work that we are doing, which spans technology, human resource capacity development, and policy and legislative reform. There could be no better way to address a whole of justice system approach, a people-centered approach, an approach that, in essence, is about saving time, the most precious commodity that we as human beings have today. Saving time for ordinary citizens who have to go through the justice process, saving time for individuals who feel and patiently await justice for the circumstances that they have found themselves in, saving time for the justice system itself and government processes. And that, for me, is the essence of what we are all here to actually contribute to. Today, this presentation of these devices, these equipment, is one of the contributions of the project on the technology side. It's a way of ensuring that the system is more efficient, more quick, but also more digitalized and more modern, and moving from the manual system to a digitalized system whereby hopefully the case files can move from the police to the court system, to the DPPs, to the AG's office, and if needed, to the prison system in a quicker, more efficient manner, and in a manner that ensures the integrity of the process, but also ensures the integrity of the final result of the process. We all know that justice delayed is justice denied. Again, linking it back to making sure everything is people-centered. And we also know that the caseload and the backlog of cases in the Caribbean is amongst the highest in the world, as well as the wait time when we're waiting repriand is also the longest, sometimes extending beyond a decade. So hopefully this is a small contribution to that. Not only will it make the process more efficient and more effective through ensuring that we reduce the backlog and we increase efficiency, hopefully it will also increase trust in the judicial system and through that trust in the government. In addition to the technology aspect, we have also been, as I said, contributing through the PACE project to capacity development. There have been a number of initiatives already taken. One of them is the AI and digital AI, artificial intelligence, and digital training as part of a digital criminal justice system. Another one is foundations for justice transformation through digital transformation, case management for the judiciary, crime scene investigation, as well as alternative dispute resolution and trainings on restorative justice. So a wide span of different initiatives in terms of increasing the capacities of all those working in the justice system. The upcoming trainings do include a joint training between the DPP and the police, the public prosecutor and the police together. When it comes to legislative reform, actually this project started on a Caribbean-wide assessment of the backlog that happened before the project, and it was undertaken by UNDP a couple years before the project started. Under the project, there was also quite recently in June of this year an interoperability assessment, and it looked at a number of countries to look at the readiness of the countries to apply digital solutions. I'm very glad to say that the assessment of Dominica had some very interesting results because there were not many different systems already in the different entities and ministries. It means that we have a clean slate from which to ensure that there is interoperability and to really have an approach whereby we can have a new system that links all the different entities of the judicial system. We found that in many other countries this has been a problem, where different ministries have different systems. They've already invested in them and they don't want to let go of the data that has already been inputted, and so trying to bring the systems to speak together has been very difficult. We are at an advantage in Dominica where we can already design and co-design from the very beginning with the leadership of the government a system that speaks to each other and that makes the flow quite easy and smooth. To make that system work, though, we will have to invest in the infrastructure and the reliability of the infrastructure so that case management is not disrupted. Another initiative that we are taking that complements this, there is a police case management system that UNDP has launched through partnership with the US and many other countries. Dominica was not privileged to that. So we are using the opportunity to bring that case management system to Dominica, and hopefully for this to be a whole of system approach where we can find a solution that takes the case from the police all the way to the end of the judicial case management. In UNDP, we're really pleased and happy to be the facilitator and the connector between the different government approaches and entities, but also between the different partners that we have across the globe. But also, because of our presence globally in over 170 countries, bringing different solutions from different parts of the world, including South-South, and including, obviously, the EU bring their own solutions, to look for how these solutions can actually be contextualized and used to the best interests and needs of the people and the government. There has also been work on legislative reform under this project, and it included numerous parts of legislative reform, including through the police and through different parts of the system. There was also the Regional Attorney General's Roundtable, which was a very interesting initiative that all the Attorney Generals very much commended and have asked that it be replicated, a chance for peers to speak about issues in a very open manner, exchange ideas, and maybe a platform for more regional cooperation on cases and more regional integration in this sector in particular. I don't want to say more except to really warmly thank and sincerely thank the AG and his office for their leadership, and thank the Government of Dominica for having the trust in us to be a partner on this pathway, and we're very pleased and proud of that. To really thank the EU for a strong and committed partnership that spans many, many different fields, which shows that together we're always present for the different governments, for the different people, and that we're here for the long term to support the development needs. I thank both of you for the unwavering support, and I want to also confirm the unwavering commitment of UNDP for the long term and to see this through. Extremely happy with today's presentation and looking forward to the work to come. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lamia, for those inspiring words. Indeed, this project is all about partnerships and responding to the needs on the ground. And I would now like to welcome Her Excellency Fiona Ramsey, European Union Ambassador to Barbados, the Eastern Caribbean States, OES, and CARICOM CARIFORUM to bring remarks on behalf. It's a long title. On behalf of the EU, welcome,
Thank
Ambassador.
Thank you very much, Honourable Attorney General and colleagues. If I can just say, all protocols observed between us. It's a real pleasure to be here today, really, for this handover. I'm very excited to see what's inside all these different boxes as well. And to be here also it's my first sort of interaction, I would say, with this with program PACE Justice, which I know is active across the region. So especially nice to start here in Dominica. Of course, we have been, as the European Union, we've been a steadfast partner of the Caribbean for many years, supporting rule of law, access to justice, and really pushing and supporting, and I would say also hopefully facilitating the development and continuation of an independent and efficient justice system. Because we see that that's not only important for upholding human rights and democratic principles, but it's also about fostering social stability, economic confidence for investors, and the public trust in government and in government's institutions. So as Limia mentioned, the project's overall objective is to reduce the criminal case backlog. It's one of the key starting points of this discussion and partnership. And indeed, significant backlogs have, of course, a negative impact on the credibility, I would say, of the justice system. So clearing it is essential. It ensures that justice system can act swiftly. And I think that's also very significant for the psychological well-being of the victims. And hopefully, a more efficient system can also act as a deterrent to potential offenders. Going back to the well-being of victims, I think delays in justice can often result in victims having to repeatedly relive traumatic experiences, endure long periods of uncertainty, what we call secondary victimization in the European Union and I guess internationally as well. So it's about reassuring them that there will be due process. And an efficient justice system is also about, I think, making sure that we are also, or the system is helping defendants, linking that, I would also link that to the prison sector, because holding significant populations in prisons without conviction or on reprimand weighs very heavily on the capacity of that sector as well. So it's all an interlinked system. So I'd like to, like Lamia said, I'd like to sincerely thank the authorities of Dominica, the Attorney General's Office for the active involvement in the program and the presence. We're very happy to have supported the training workshops on criminal mediation, restorative justice, and children in conflict with the law, all important parts of that larger landscape that UNDP is supporting. And looking at alternative dispute resolution mechanisms and making also, I would hope as well, the legal system more effective for the protection of vulnerable people, the vulnerable elements in society. The ongoing review of key legal frameworks like the Police Act and the Evidence Ordinance, which I understand is still ongoing, are crucial also, we think, for creating a transparent and official legal system. So really looking forward to hearing how that is going. Of course, ensuring justice and security for citizens entails significant public investment from the national budget. So I think it's also important to highlight the importance of communicating with populations, with communities, with future voters about the need for national budget for the courts, for police investigations, for the penitentiary system, for rehabilitation, because there needs to be, there are critical elements from my perspective, I would say, for taking durable measures against criminality in the future. I understand PACE Justice will continue to assist with judicial reforms as part of this broader effort in the Caribbean to strengthen rule of law. And we have really seen the power of collaborative engagement with UNDP, with the different Caribbean countries to strengthen that judicial independence, improve legal education, and enhance access to justice. In addition, the European Union also has an El Pacto program, 2.0, I think it's called, which is about assisting against transnational organized crime. We think that's also able to play a key role in expansion as it expands its scope to the Caribbean region. And we know that collaboration has already happened between PACE and El Pacto, which I think is setting a very positive path for the future. One of those, for example, was the workshop on artificial intelligence and digital transformation, which was held in Barbados earlier this year. So all of these initiatives, I think, highlight the power of partnership, as Christelle mentioned, shared goals. Delighted to see that the EU support is helping to transform the judicial landscape in Dominica. I'm sure this equipment will contribute to that, will contribute to advocating for security and justice and building a safer and more vibrant Caribbean region and a safer and more vibrant Dominica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ambassador, especially for your continued partnership and support, which makes this work possible. We'd now like to invite the Honourable Attorney General, Levi Peter, to bring remarks on behalf of the government.
Thank you very much, Christelle. If I may just follow on, that protocol has been established, and just move on from there. Well, as just to say a few words, I think the two speakers before me have quite clearly set out the PACE and the relationship between PACE, or PACE Justice, but I like to just say PACE, PACE Justice and the government and people of Dominica. I think I'm correct in saying the program started about 2023, and I remember the beginnings of that. There was some reaching out, and I if I'm not mistaken, that we didn't grab your hand immediately for various reasons, but mostly because there's a challenge, and the emails come in and they don't get answered immediately.
We're hanging on tight.
Right, well, yeah. But
they're not letting go.
But we did, and it was quite interesting. we did make that connection. And from the point of making that connection, I think we have continued to have a very close partnership with PACE Justice and ourselves. And certainly the objective, for at least this phase, of the attacking and reducing the backlog of cases is significant. Lynn and myself were having a conversation just before we started, and she was asking me some questions in relation to the backlog. We do have, unfortunately, a backlog in the justice system here. It's both in terms of the civil and the criminal side, but I guess the criminal side deals with the liberty of the subject. So to some extent, that is more important than the financial aspects that civil side covers. I guess, and lest I be chastised for suggesting that the only aspects of civil litigation are financial. I am not seeking to suggest that at all, but I am saying that the criminal justice system is essentially and largely covers the liberty of the subject. When a person remains on remand, or even if not in custody, even if the person is on bail, but for an extended period of time, with charges hanging over their head, that is an onerous event, especially in maybe smaller jurisdictions like ours, where people constantly want to travel, sometimes not necessarily for permanent immigration purposes, but they want to go somewhere. Maybe someone in the family has a wedding, a funeral, or whatever it is, and if you're on bail, you obviously can't do that unless you go back to the court and get the permission of the court to allow you to leave, and that's not always going to be forthcoming. So it is important that we have a system which aims to and achieves disposal of matters before the court in an expeditious manner and in an expeditious time frame. We are not yet there. The equipment that PACE Justice and the EU have so generously donated so far to various departments, the police, the magistrates court, the high court, the prisons. So far I'm told that they're already having a positive impact. I'm sure that they will continue to do so, and the greater use of them will increase that positive impact. I dare say that I take the opportunity to say to keep it coming. Yeah, the more the merrier. But no, it is a beautiful partnership, which is having the effect that I think all parties want it to have. And like I said, from the time that we have commenced the partnership, I think both sides, I think I take the liberty of speaking for PACE Justice here. That's certainly because that's who we've had the greater communication with. I'm sure that they themselves are seeing the fruits of their labour, and that is obviously encouraging to them. We from the government side undertake to continue to work collaboratively for the best interests of the justice system and the people of Dominica, and by extension the region and the Caribbean, because as PACE Justices, the jurisdictions that are involved, it's a very collaborative exercise. I mean, each jurisdiction has its own challenges, but to a large extent we have the same challenges. There may be, some might have a greater or lesser extent, but largely we have the same challenges in our different jurisdictions. And it would be remiss of me not to refer to, although very briefly, the Attorney General's round table that we had. I think maybe Olympia touched on it, but it was a tremendously beneficial exercise, I would wish to assert. And from my conversations with fellow Attorneys General who attended that round table, they all expressed the same view. And I think the questionnaire, the feedback that went out, I'm sure that's what you got back from those who were present. It was an exercise that allowed the Attorney General to engage in an open and frank manner, discussing the challenges and ideas addressing some of those. And I look forward to the second one, which I trust the good Lord allows me to be able to attend at some point in the not too distant future, because that, I think, is a tremendous opportunity to continue to build on the extremely powerful and strong work that is being done in this region. I think there are a couple of years left on the program, and I think all of us have the objective that we at least see a significant reduction in the backlog in the various jurisdictions. And certainly from Dominica's perspective, I'm very hopeful that we can see a significant reduction in the backlog and that other areas will be addressed. I think the ambassador touched on the legislative support. Interestingly, I think I'm correct in saying that I saw an email that confirmed that at least there is a draft that has been done in respect of one of the pieces of legislation that we are trying to address. And that specific one is the Evidence Act. There's work to be done. Obviously, it's a draft and needs to be worked on, but the Evidence Act that we are currently operating under is ancient, to be kind to it, and certainly we definitely need to update and upgrade. And there are other pieces of legislation that are being addressed. I think what we did was to identify some of the legislation that we consider likely to be most impactful in terms of addressing the immediate concern of trying to allow the courts and the court system to be more effective and efficient, and thereby contributing to the goal of reducing the backlog. I think that that's likely to be effective in collaboration with all of the equipment that will enable more efficient interaction and interrelationship between the various departments. And I'm quite confident that with all of those and with our continued collaboration and partnership, I'm quite confident that we will see a meaningful contribution and success in making significant inroads into the backlog that we currently have in Dominica. With those few words, I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, AG. Your strong and consistent support has really helped us to make good progress in Dominica, specifically for the region as a whole, and we're very, very grateful. The AG is one of the biggest supporters of the PACE Justice Project in the Caribbean, so thank you, AG. And he facilitated some sessions in the AG's roundtable, and we are so thankful, ever grateful for your support. So I would now like to invite the Honorable AG, Ambassador Ramsey and Lemire, to the front for the ceremonial handover of the equipment.
Don't let the ambassador open the book.
I start opening the boxes.
Don't let the ambassador open the book.
That as well, it's ceremonial. It's just ceremonial.
They're very light, aren't
There might not be anything inside that.
they? They're already in use, right?
Very good.
Before we do that, I just also wanted to take the opportunity to thank Lemire for her guidance and leadership, which has ensured that the PACE Justice Project continues to make progress in the region and have impact. Thank you so much, Lemire.
Thank you. Thank you to the team as well for all the hard work.
Okay.
Should we
take a picture with one of them? Which
Yes.
one do you want me to
Do you want to
pick
hand
up?
over to the AG?
Yeah,
maybe?
I think
Choose something.
she's something. Can we wait, maybe I can move.
Here,
This
I'll
one?
help with that. Does that help?
That's the super light one, right?
Yeah. Might be empty, so I'm not going to tear it open.
Perfect.
And I wanted to just do one different angle, please. If we could do the big one. Yes, with the AG in the middle. Yes, and then you're holding one side, and then yes. Thank you.
probably have left that one there.
Yes.
I could have left it.
Yeah, just on the end. Yes, yes.
On the side,
yes,
yeah.
Yes, yes.
You can put the others as well so that there are multiple.
There are multiple
Yeah,
boxes.
yeah.
It's like Christmas.
My daughter would be super happy.
Santa visit.
She'd be tearing them open.
All right. Thank you.
The boxes heavy.
Thank you very much. Need to put it down.
We now invite the media. We want to thank the media for coming today, and we now invite the media to depart. And we want to wish you safe journey and thank you, as always, for your wonderful support.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And thank you to the team also, the AG's office, my
Very good.
team.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
very good indeed.
The project is doing.
This was the equipment handover ceremony this live for Sunset and Bertie Emonews 19 Emonews. Thanks for viewing and thanks for listening.